Welcome, everyone, to the Feminine Outliers podcast, your dose of fun, life advice, and experiences from two African professional women living and working in the Western world. We are your hosts, Zelda Wasau,
And Women Donna.
and we are excited to have you here with us today. So, welcome back to episode 2 of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Episode 2. Here we are.
This is going to be this is going to be a fun one because, as you guys can tell from the title of the episode, we are talking about travel.
Mm-hmm.
And I love to travel. So this is going to be a super fun episode, which I'm excited for us to delve into travel and all that. But first things first, just a quick reminder, guys. I figured I'd do it a little bit at the beginning of the episode. Remember, we're on all podcast platforms, all the major ones, including YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any major podcast platforms. So feel free to listen to us, watch us
Yeah.
on any of these platforms. And feel free to engage with us. We are looking forward to having more of your emails, your just interactions, your feedback. It's going to be fun. So,
Yeah.
yay.
Yay.
Anyways, Chova, what did you want to talk about today?
What was on my mind was actually I have so many questions for you because you recently traveled to Japan. We talked
Mhm.
about it on our last episode that you were going. And you were back. I don't know if you're glad to be back, but I have questions. I have lots of questions because this was your first time, right?
Yeah, it was my first time in Japan. It was amazing. Am I happy to be back? No, I'm sad. I was really sad to leave. But it's one of those
Yeah.
things you have to work so that you can get the money to get out travel. So I
Hmm.
was like, you know what, it's fine. I'll be back. That's what I told myself. I'm gonna be back.
Yeah.
So
No, I get it. I get it. Okay. So for me, the first thing that comes to my mind is what was the first thing that just hit you like you're not in the US? If there was something that was like, huh? This is
mm,
different.
I would probably say when landing, so I have global entry.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really quick and easy to go through passport control.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a breeze.
Mm-hmm.
But in another country, I can't use global entry and you have
Yeah.
to line up and do the long lines. And I was like, OMG, I'm not in the US anymore. I can't just zoom past
Yeah.
passport. I landed in Osaka and the line took about an hour. And then it was so
Mm.
hot in there. It was so I think I remember telling you it was
Oh
so
yeah,
hot.
yeah,
And
you
I'm like,
text
this is
me.
a first world country. I'm like, why is it hot in the in the immigration hall?
Yeah.
Because I remember telling you in Kenya we have the same problem. So why are we having the same problem like
Mm.
in Japan?
Yeah.
Like some of the girls who were on the group with me, two of them were on the same flight. We were texting and they were like, yeah, I feel like I want to pass out. It was that hot. And it
Mm.
wasn't even that hot outside,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they just don't use air conditioning, they're trying to save money. I don't understand because my experiences in the US,
Mhm.
you don't feel like you're dying of heat in the immigration halls.
Mhm.
Now, granted, I haven't been stuck in the long lines,
Yeah.
so maybe I might not be the best person to talk. But then but we're in the same immigration hall,
Right.
and I
Yeah.
might be on the other side, but I just haven't felt that kind of heat. But that was the first thing I was like, oh my goodness, guys,
Yeah.
like why? Why? And of course, the line was really long, and it took a lot of time to go through immigration, and obviously now with the language because
Oh,
the staff
yeah.
are obviously speaking to you in Japanese
Yeah.
and trying to redirect you, and it's like I don't understand a thing. So
Yeah.
you just kind of follow
Ah.
uh, what other tourists are doing, which most a good number of us over there were tourists. So
Right.
it,
Yeah.
it was a lot. I was just like, why? Because you're tired. This is
Yeah.
a 12-hour something minute flight.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, I just want to rest. And then you come off the plane, and the plane is actually cooler than the immigration hall.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. I'm actually thinking like This is the first time I'm realizing that, okay, I did travel to Belgium, but I the thought of going to a country where English is not the main language, and I'm just thinking because that was I've grown up speaking English, but it's just interesting how there's a sort of a shift because now you have to rely on body language or signs or symbols, and
Hmm.
yeah, that's an interesting experience. I need to do that myself to see how I would interact with people that don't speak the language, the English, or it's not the first language rather. Okay, but what about the food? Because I'm sure the food was fooding, if that's even a word.
You jumped directly to the food.
Because I'm like, I know I'm going to eat. Even when you get off a plane, at least for me, I need a snack. I need to drink something. I need water or something. So of course, I'm gonna figure out like Zell, what was the food like?
The food situation was great. The first thing I did when I got to my hotel, um, which was a good hour away from the airport, because
Mm,
the airport in Osaka is not close to the city,
mm.
which is good. It's actually random fact. It's actually in a little island, and they're saying that the island is sinking. So
Uh-oh.
anyways, the random fact. But when we got to the airport, the hotel, obviously we're tired. Now, anyone who knows anything about Japan knows that their konbinis, so basically their convenience stores, are really good.
Ah,
Like you can eat breakfast, lunch, dinner
okay.
from the convenience stores because they put in fresh food.
Okay. Yeah.
So when we arrived and checked into the hotel, we were so exhausted we didn't feel like doing like you just really want to sleep. So we went to Lawson's and we got like I got onigiri, which is like a rice ball, a triangular rice ball with like you can have different fillings inside. You can have seaweed inside, you can have fish, tuna, different types of things inside. It's very common thing. So I was so excited. I think I sent you a picture.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Yes.
I went and got that for dinner. I got water. And then also you can withdraw money. That was the first things I did.
Uh,
So my first experience with food there was my onigiri and I loved it. Because I this is
ah.
one of the things for those of us who are kind of cheesy anime lovers. Always see these onigiris like you're like, ah. So that was my first thing and it was great. It was honestly great.
Ah.
And
Yeah.
that set up the stage for further food escapades because we had food tours. We had a food tour in Osaka. It was great.
Yeah.
We had multiple like market visits, different market visits. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm very against street food in certain places because of hashtag diarrhea, traveler sickness, and all that stuff.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
you just don't know how hygienic these things are.
Yeah.
In Japan, no issues. In Japan, I could totally like I was 100% comfortable with street food,
Mhm.
and
Wow.
the street food was on point. Like the tempura prawns, squid, the octopus. Um, yeah, everything there was just like on
Wow.
point. Even the desserts, like the takoyaki, which is like a little fish. It's not fish itself,
Yeah.
but the batter is in this shape of a fish, and you can have red bean paste filling inside, custard filling
Okay.
inside, sweet potato filling inside. All that stuff was so good. Like food, I think Japan. The whole entire 2 weeks I was there,
Mm.
I rarely experienced hunger. Like I'm not used to timing myself like when I eat,
Mhm.
but they fed us well in Japan. So
Oh.
much to eat. You don't have to worry about it. Food is cheap and good quality.
Mm.
And even the expensive stuff, because we did have something called like an omakase dinner, which the chef makes different types of sushi in your face, like right there. He like cuts the fish right in front of you,
Okay. Uh-huh.
seasons it right in front of you,
Okay.
does everything in front of you, and then he gives you the fish to eat. Then he takes out the next different type of fish. And it does the same thing with sushi and stuff like that. Like we had sea urchin in the omakase. It was so good. Sea urchin can really go bad if it's bad. It was so good. The
Mm.
omakase, that was one of the more expensive things. Having a teppanyaki dinner in which like we had like wagyu beef.
Mhm.
Wagyu beef is premium quality beef, and
Mhm.
he made it and he was making that in front of us. That
Mhm.
was great. And of course, we had a couple of stays in more traditional style Japanese hotels.
Mhm.
So we had like Japanese style breakfast, Japanese style food.
Mhm.
Now, this one was a hit or miss. Japanese style breakfast is a full meal on its own. Like, it's like they bring you a whole tray and it's like it's like plates of small dishes,
Right.
very small. Like it
Yeah.
could be like two pieces of fruit, could be one piece of
Mhm.
piece of sushi, rice, miso soup is always provided. Small, but it's
Nice.
like small servings of different things, but
Yeah.
that's your breakfast.
Wow.
And you'd think you look at it and it looks such small, like literally such small size servings,
Mhm.
but it's a lot, so you get really full. And
Okay.
granted, at the end of the visit, it's funny because some of my group were like, "I'm tired." They're like, "I just want cereal or oatmeal or something." Because the
That's
the the
funny.
yeah, it's true. The breakfast has like it's always sushi,
Yeah.
and this is like when I'm saying sushi, specifying sashimi fish.
Mhm.
There's always raw fish in the breakfast,
Mm.
traditional breakfast, like rice, miso soup. It's a lot of things you don't know,
Mm.
like tofu,
Mhm.
radishes, then other things you have no clue what you're eating.
Oh,
That was a very typical experience for me
yeah.
in Japan. I had no clue what I was eating.
Okay.
I just ate it. And if I liked it, I asked our guide what this was. If I didn't like it, I was like, eh. But if I liked it, I was like, "Oh, what is this I'm eating?" So that I can know what I'm eating.
Yeah. I don't know if publicly Japanese food is considered healthy. I don't know what the the rhetoric is about the food, but I do know that um it's in Japan where they have the blue zones where people live for a very long time and people
Mm.
research the people that live in those blue zones because of the food they eat. It sounds healthy.
I think it's generally healthy because even the sweets and stuff are
Mm.
not sweet, sweet.
Mhm.
Like you can eat. I think that's why I really liked Asian baked stuff because they don't put as much sugar as in America.
Mhm.
And if you eat sweet stuff over there, it's good. They also control the portion sizes.
Mhm.
It's very helpful. You could eat a lot there. Now, granted, some people say they lose weight to go to Japan. I don't. I didn't lose weight. I think I just maintained my weight
Yeah.
because you're walking a lot.
Mhm.
Then you're also
Eating a
eating.
yeah.
You might be eating small portions,
Yeah.
but you eat a lot of
It's
different
like
small portions.
yeah. Yeah.
So because you're just trying out everything, but the food is healthy in general. Like I think the only thing that is was interesting is that a lot of people were concerned that in Japan, a lot of tourists get constipated because you're not used to eating they don't, I guess their style of vegetables and stuff is very different from what we're used to.
Okay.
So it takes adjusting, getting used to their style of food. So that was
Mhm.
like a concern. But you just have to go prepared with whatever you need to help you go to the bathroom.
Mhm.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of adjustment in regards to that. But the food was great. And I think one really good principle that they have in Japan about food
Mhm.
is when you eat until you're 80% full
Full.
and then
Yeah.
you stop. You don't have to,
Ah.
you don't get to the 100%.
Ah. That's a good principle.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the principle of ikigai. I think it's about purpose. My association with Japan is they live by these principles that life sustaining and nourishing. That's the vibe I get from Japanese culture. So yeah.
Mhm.
So I want to explore that. I just haven't gotten a chance to, but I feel like they live in a very principled way, quote unquote. But yeah.
Too principled.
Yeah. uh, but
There needs to be a little bit more wiggle
it
room.
needs to be like, okay, it needs to be a little bit more fun, okay? Um,
Mhm.
so, but when you said about the convenience stores, I was thinking about my experience when I was looking for a banana to put in my oatmeal in the US, and I went to a gas station and I didn't find there was no fruit. The guy was like, "No, we don't sell any bananas." I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And I couldn't go to a grocery store. The gas station was nearest. Imagine eating from the gas station. No offense, shout out, but it's good for gas. Okay, no, that's really cool. How long have you been planning the trip? How long? Because I know you have been thinking about it, but how long has it been since you thought about going to Japan and actually going to Japan?
Oh, I think I thought about going to Japan a few years ago, but then I just
Mm,
had to wait for the right time.
mm,
And I'm really glad I went with this group. I went with Flashback. It was a really so basically all I needed to do was pay, and they do the planning for you. The only other planning I
mm,
do is we have free time,
mhm,
so but we're not a lot, but they try to put in a lot. They try to put in free time for us.
mhm,
So that was when I just have to figure out what I want to do, and I already knew what I wanted to do based off my interests
mhm,
and based on what I see. Because I watch YouTube vlogs of some Africans like Harriet Harper, Ela, Sunday Love. Well, she's African American. Who else do I watch? Koniko. She's Black British who live in Japan.
mm,
So I always see some of the things they suggest and things I think I'd enjoy.
mm.
Thing to figure out what I wanted to do. I kind of knew what I wanted to do.
Okay.
The only trick is actually getting getting the stuff and doing stuff, because this is where it becomes tricky because
Mm,
Japan is obviously they speak Japanese
mhm,
and the handwriting might be kanji, so you can't understand it.
mhm, mhm,
Is not foreigner friendly in regards to their main websites.
mhm,
There's a lot of other websites they have, particularly for tourists,
mhm,
to make things easier. But a lot of these are third party sites
mhm,
where you can book on.
mhm,
But if you want to go to a certain attraction, you need to buy stuff months in advance.
mhm.
If you're going during busy season,
Yeah.
you have to, if you go directly to the website, you have to be ready to navigate the website in full Japanese.
Ah,
And that's where it gets tricky.
tricky.
Like I my train card on my phone, my Suica card, and I knew I could get it on my phone because I watched a vlog of someone going to Japan and they did it.
Mhm.
But I didn't realize the whole thing was in Japanese, no English at all. Literally
Wow.
just blindly clicking through.
Mhm,
Because I followed someone, they were like, "Yeah, just click this, click that," and they just show you like you don't understand what the hell you're clicking.
mhm.
You just click it until you get to the point where it says add money, like where you
Ah,
figure out the signs, the zero, then the yen
yeah.
sign, and then you can add money and then you can get it. That was so like I literally was just blindly buying it. And now I have the
Wow.
card on my thing.
Right.
But it's things like that.
Okay.
I think in things like that it requires planning.
Mhm,
This is something you have to do in any country you go to
mhm,
when you're visiting. It's just thinking about some of the small things that you might not necessarily know,
mhm,
or like or that will be really helpful.
mhm.
And I think it's so easy to do it nowadays, in all honesty, because of social media.
Yeah.
Because you can literally just type in tips on how to navigate, and
Mhm.
someone probably would have done it.
Exactly.
That's how I actually went about doing that. That was a little preparation I did for my trip. There's certain things in my free time I knew they're not part of the tour,
Mhm,
so I wanted to go for.
mhm.
So
Mm.
I did.
Ah,
For example, my Tokyo cards, street carding.
mhm.
I I knew from what I saw in people on YouTube that you needed an international driver's license to be able to do
Ah,
it. So I had to go to get international driver's license because I planned in advance.
you're right.
I think it's so important to think if there's certain activities you want to do
Mhm.
wherever you're traveling to, and see what are the chances of you buying tickets there versus buying tickets when you're still in your home country.
Mm.
And what do you need?
Right.
So you don't go there and you're blindsided and you just miss out on opportunities.
Right. No, that's a very good point. The other thing that came to mind was the charging ports or power supply. Was it similar to
Mm.
the US?
I think they have two prongs,
Okay.
but the charging, what the voltage is a bit different.
Okay. Yeah.
Or something for me that doesn't bother me because I have an international adapter
Okay.
that
Okay.
just changes based on which country. So depending on which country I go to, I just put it in and
Oh,
change it
yes, I saw
around.
that one. I saw Did you get that on Amazon?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
Bezos, shout out. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have that.
Okay.
So that helps. So I don't need to think about
Yeah.
the voltage thing and stuff because I just plug in my stuff to that adapter
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, no, that's really cool. No, but that's a good point. You can take care of things while you're in your home country before you travel. What is flashback? Like what's their concept?
Uh, it's a tour travel company, and it's mostly for like solo travelers who would like to go in a group.
Okay.
Like, and it does it by age.
Oh. Uh-huh.
I like that because I didn't want to be stuck with a bunch of 18 year
Yeah.
old.
Yeah. Shout out.
So that's what I like. That does it by age, and then also it has a kind of a concept of more luxury travel.
Okay.
So when it comes to like booking tours, you can get tours with companies that are different levels.
Mhm.
If you want basic,
Mm.
you can get basic.
Okay.
If you want middle, you can get middle. It just depends on what you want.
Right.
So I liked flashbacks because they would have like take us to 4 5 star hotels and it's more like comfortable and
Oh,
stuff
okay.
like that.
Yeah.
You just know you have like you get a lot more. It's more comfortable. Like it's people who want to travel and travel well,
Yeah.
and also it's catered to like as I said, they have the different ages
Okay.
and like people in their 30s and they have different ages 30s 40s 50s and
Okay.
stuff like that. So
Oh.
I liked that because it was people I could like relate with people more.
Yeah.
And then the people who were women who were like slightly older than me, I learned so much from them. It was such
Right.
I really loved my group.
Yeah.
And I was scared because this was I was going and I did not know anyone.
Right. Yeah.
And everyone in that group went and did not know
Anyone.
anyone.
Yeah.
But we became such great buddies in the trip.
Yeah.
Like it was a really good group. Of course, there's one or two people you don't like. You're
Yeah.
just like, yeah,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
because personalities clash and stuff like that. But it was a really great group, and I'm glad I did it. I was really nervous because I was like, I don't know how I'm going to get along with people, and
Mhm.
I didn't plan in advance, so I ended up having a roommate.
Mhm.
Because when I asked them when it's time for me to not have a roommate, it was too late.
Mm. Yeah.
So I mean, that's one of the other things. If you go on a tour, i- plan if you want to have a roommate or not have a roommate. When I think about it, part of the reason why I initially hesitated about the roommate, not I mean getting not having a roommate is because well, it's more expensive, but regardless of the expense, I was like, oh, that means I'll be slightly lonely. I don't know because
Mm.
I'll just come back to my room. I don't know if I'll have people to hang out with, and it was farther from the truth. Like with communication in the group, like people would be like, hey, I'm going to so and so. You guys, anyone wants to join? Oh, hey, this is my plan for so and so. Does anyone want to
Mm.
join?
Yeah.
And that way we would still hang out with each other and get stuff to do because you'd find someone in the group who'd want to do similar things that
Mhm.
you like to do.
Yeah.
So I wish I had my own room. I had a roommate and she was great.
Mhm.
But then I think our days were so packed that at
Yeah.
the end of the day, you're so exhausted.
Mhm.
You kind of just want to go back to your own room.
Right.
But now you go back to your room with someone else.
Yeah, you're like, "Oh,
So
okay. Yes. Yeah. Oh.
that that's the only thing. Like next time, I'll definitely do more group tours.
Mhm.
Likely, I'll do a lot more with Flashback,
Mhm.
as I really enjoyed their vibe
Okay.
and everything.
That's good. That's
But I just feel like I definitely would have my own room. It was a group. Like, it was such a great concept, and I think people who want to do group tours
yeah.
should consider it.
Okay. How does it differ from a solo trip? Because, like, do you think you would have done I don't know whether it's explored more or had more freedom if you just had gone to Japan for yourself and just explored it?
Uh, So, you know, I think this depends. It depends on want what you want in general.
Mm.
You might have had more freedom
Yeah.
if you're doing a solo trip.
Mhm.
Some of the ways to navigate that is one, some of these tour groups give you free time.
Mhm.
If you have other things you want to do that are not part of the tour, you
Mhm.
have time to do within the free time.
Mm.
They don't bombard you day to day.
Yeah.
I mean, I would probably say 70% of your time you spend with the group,
Okay.
but maybe you have 30%, 20 to 30% free time.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can do that stuff in there.
Okay.
But a lot of us would come either a day earlier or leave a couple of days later.
Mhm.
So you still have time to get to do your solo adventures or certain things that you might not be part of the tour
Mhm.
you want to do.
Mhm.
So I think that's like an important thing to consider.
Mhm.
Um, because so you don't necessarily have to. But it's so I think the thing about going on a group tour, depending on which country you are in,
Mhm.
is if you're going to a country that is English speaking, or I mean, sorry, let me just correct myself. I don't know which country you guys are listening from, but I assume you know English if you're listening to this podcast and watching us.
Yeah.
But like if you go to a country that speaks your home like language, or you speak the same language, it might be easier for you to it might not be as hard for you to go there solo and do things on your own.
Mhm.
But sometimes it's helpful. But when you go to a country that doesn't speak the language, I personally feel like having someone there to help navigate certain things
Mhm.
can be much helpful.
Right.
Because also the Japanese system, in as much as it's easy, it's also not the easiest. It's
Mhm.
easy but not easy.
Yeah.
Like 'cause they are very bureaucratic, and certain things still require paper and stuff like that. Or there's certain things that just don't make sense. Because for example, I can't top up my um I can top up my Suica card on the wallet
Mhm.
in my phone on the phone.
Mm.
But then if we have the physical card,
Mhm.
you have to go to the actual train station and top up with cash. Cash.
Oof.
You
Yeah.
can't use card. You have to use cash. And in my head, I'm like, why?
Why?
Because
Mm.
if you're coming from here, you might think that you can just do like just do a card. So
Mhm.
some of those things that you wouldn't know, some nuances.
Mhm.
So having a guide definitely helped us out because also you know how I said like they are saying how they really are strict and follow rules in Japan. There's
Mhm.
certain things you would never know. They're,
Yeah.
they're not intuitive because they're not part of our culture.
Right.
So the guide is one who can help be like, hey, stand on the left
Mhm.
and leave, make sure the right is available for people who want to walk up the escalator and down the escalator, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Then it switches. Sometimes it's on the right, depending if you're in Osaka or Tokyo. Things like that that you wouldn't know.
Mm.
Or like if you're going to an onsen, how to show that you're actually in the onsen, like if it's a private onsen,
Mhm.
you wouldn't know some of these things. So the guide definitely made our lives so much easier. So
Mhm.
having booking the tour,
Yeah.
it like you didn't have to be stressed out thinking about that. I think that's one of the aspects about group tours that I love.
Mm.
Because personally speaking, I don't want to be stressed out on vacation
Mhm.
and or like extra stressed out.
Mhm.
So having the tour already planned, like you already they already planned transportation and stuff like that. I mean, we use the trains, we use public transport and stuff like that sometimes.
Mhm.
But they already have your cards ready for you. They already know like this is a plan, this is how we're gonna get there, this is what we're gonna do. Sometimes we had private transportation. It just makes your life so much easier.
Mhm.
And I think the best way to navigate that is look at the tour company you're using and does it hit the major areas you want to go to?
Mm. Yeah.
If it doesn't, maybe choose because there's so many companies out there. So look for some other one
Mhm.
that fits your style.
Yeah.
Because if it hits the major areas you're going to, you'll still be able to see what you want to see, especially if they have free time.
Right.
And then also the whole thing about staying extra time, as I said, you could easily just straight extra time afterwards. And it's funny because I stayed there a whole 4 or 5 days. With the tour ended on Tuesday night, Wednesday, Thursday, I left on Sunday.
Mm.
I stayed an extra 5 days. And by that time, I was so much more comfortable because I knew how to use the train system. I knew how to
Mm.
say,
Yeah.
you know, arigato gozaimasu, which is like hello. I mean, it's just like thank you very much.
Mhm.
Good morning, ohayo gozaimasu, and things like that. So I knew how to do basic stuff.
Mhm.
So I was so
Yeah.
much more comfortable being on my own
Yeah.
that I felt like I could tackle it more. So that's why I stayed extra days because there's certain things that I wanted to get done
Mhm.
that I couldn't get done when I was on with the
With the
tour group.
tour, yeah.
Or some other people, other things come up and like you want to join other people do that thing. So you're like,
Mhm.
yeah, I still have time to do X, Y, or Z. So I think that's in cases like that, it helps reduce planning.
Right. Yeah.
Last thing I would say is for me, because I live, by myself, uh, I'm used to being quote unquote alone.
Mm.
It kind of is like when I travel, I don't necessarily want to travel by myself. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm like, I'm really used to having that feeling of being by myself.
Yeah.
So it's like when I go, I would rather have people and enjoy the experience with
Yeah.
because I don't need to, like, it's not as if I'm escaping from people and trying to
Yeah,
have
like
this
trying to be on your own and isolated.
mindfulness adventure. Exactly. It's like
Mm.
I have that peace and quietness here at home. So
Mm.
I need So I think for me personally, travel is much enjoyable with other people.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I realized that, and this was a really great tour for me to realize, because I guess as I told you, I was concerned. I'm not sure how it's going to get along with people and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And it's fine because you won't get along with everyone, but you will get along with some people, and it still makes it worth it.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly.
So,
Ah. Man, no, that's really good. That's really good. I like the part about, yeah, going for the tour so that it gets you comfortable, especially when they're not speaking the language that you are used to or you speak in your home,
mhm,
wherever you stay. Because that is a very good point. Because I think, even now that I think about it, for the places that I haven't considered going yet, it's because they don't speak English, or they don't speak English, which that's, I speak English. And then the other thing is just the culture maybe just feels culturally different. And also, I feel like there are some countries that are heavily advertised, like France, Italy, Germany. So even if, I don't speak German, I'm just like, somehow I feel like I know, like I will be okay. Like I'll just be like, I don't know, I'll speak something, because it's like it's just they're just so heavily advertised. And now you're making me realize, like, oh wait, I can still go to these other countries where I feel I will be lost because I don't know how to tell someone I want to go to the bathroom or something. Um,
mhm,
but if I can do it in sort of this approach of with a tour guide, then it will be more helpful. And also, one thing you're making me realize when you said the flashback has different packages, like basic, whatever, luxury, supreme. I don't know what else other packages they have. But then I realized that if you're carrying a mentality of, like, let's say you're a person who maybe you don't have the a high budget, or maybe you're a student, because that's the mentality that I think I'm having initially, was like, oh, I need to go there on a budget. And wait, I'm like, no, I'm not a student anymore. So why am I trying to struggle for just the sake of struggling? Um, so now it's more like, if you decide to travel, think of it as an educational experience, and that you want to get something out of it, not like you just want to touch the ground in Japan and then just be there for 3 days because it's tough, and then you just like head out. Um, at least personally, I'm starting to realize that the type of travel I want is quality versus just touching places, if that makes sense.
mhm.
Yeah. So you had me thinking, like, ah, that is that is good. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, flashback is good with quality. I mean, I don't know if they have different basic levels, but I think what I meant to say is other companies. There's so many different companies for different levels,
Ah, okay.
and there are some companies that do have different levels.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think like you can find what you want. In all honesty,
Mm,
and yeah, it's true. Like quality, quantity, it just depends on what you want to experience.
exactly.
Um, because there's certain places you go to that you're just literally going to chill by the beach. Like if you're going, like you want to go to a resort and just chill by the beach, that's a valid vacation.
That's true.
And you also it's a different type of vacation, but you'll need that sometimes. So like it just depends on what you want. But it's it's so good. Like
Mm,
I think it's just I realize that for me, like the tour, I think I will be going a lot down the route with tour groups a lot
okay.
because I just find it more enjoyable when I'm hanging out with people.
Yeah.
And I think the part of the thing was that I also couldn't wait for friends.
Mm,
Um, looking at you, Chole, you're one of them who I think it takes a lot to convince you to travel sometimes. Uh,
yeah.
or like you find your friends are, I don't know, having a kid or this is happening or that is happening. I can't leave the country because of this or that. So I realize if you don't want to wait for friends, just going,
Just
you can
start.
go solo.
Yeah.
You could do a tour group.
Yeah.
Just you're just doing it, and
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't regret it at all. It was that was an amazing experience. Japan, oh, like the kind of peace I had there also. Like I have peace here, but like when I was at the hot spring, the onsen town,
Mhm.
Hakone, it was so peaceful. It was annoying because it was raining and it was foggy and I never got to see Mount Fuji, but it was so peaceful. Like just
Mm.
sitting in like the your private onsen, soaking in that hot water, enjoying, and I was so at peace. I was just like, and then I went to Tokyo afterwards, and then Tokyo was like slam,
Yeah.
like no peace,
It was
no
like,
peace. It was so busy,
yeah.
but it just made me realize there's so much more to explore. Like that's why I want to go back to Tokyo. I mean, to Japan in general, because there's so much more I would like to explore.
Yeah, to
Like
experience.
there's a lot more. But yeah, tour
Mm.
groups, consider them. Tour companies, consider them. I mean, obviously do your research, make sure it's a good company, legit company, but like
Mm.
I would definitely consider that. Definitely good. I'm really thinking next year, Vietnam, Cambodia.
Okay. You're really hitting those places. That is great. In my head, I'm just the one person who's like, yeah, I still want to eat Italian food in Italy right now. And but no, I no, it's really that's really good. I had a question. I had a question for you. How did you buy your ticket? Because you said it took you've been planning this trip, but did you have any hacks on buying a ticket, or like did you buy it at the market
Mm.
price, average market price, or did you?
I used my miles. I used my points to get the ticket.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Yeah.
because I had points with Amex Platinum, so I used my points to buy it.
Okay.
Which I'm in the game for credit card hacking.
Mhm.
I'm learning how to do it and how to maximize my credit cards to make the most number of points, and then how to smartly transfer my points to travel partners and use it for buying
Mm.
um,
Yeah.
tickets.
Yeah.
That way, when people think, "Oh, you're spending all your money doing tickets," like, no, I'm not necessarily buying it with my own money. I mean, I'm using my points to
Mm.
buy some of these flights. So, yeah, that's what I did. I used my points to buy my ticket for Japan.
Mhm.
Um, and then you could also use like because you can use the travel portals on some of these major credit card companies, or I think the better option also is just directly transferring your points to an actual airline because you'll get more bang for your buck
Mm.
if you do that way.
Mhm.
So that's like I think one of the other ways of doing it.
Mhm.
So it makes it easy. If you use your credit card smartly,
Yes, people.
they'll work for you.
Right. Yeah. It does feel good when you use your, because I also did the same when I came to visit you. It does feel good when you use your points because it's not like you're spending your, okay, obviously you got the credit card, but it's not like you're spending your own hard-earned money because you've been accumulating points. So,
Mhm.
yes, I agree with you on that one. So, no, this has been that's good, Zell. That is really, really good. Um, and when you told me about the go-karting thing, I was like, it made me think of Tokyo Drift, Fast and
Mhm.
Furious. I don't know. That's the other thing. Oh, the other thing is Tokyo Drift, Fast and Furious, and Uniqlo. Those are the things that I'm like,
Yeah, sure. Uniqlo shopping. Man, I enjoyed the shopping. Yeah, because the yen unfortunately is down. So the dollar was much stronger.
yeah.
So I went and I enjoyed shopping. It's a good place to get expensive stuff
Mm,
because you get it for cheaper.
mm.
And then if you go with your passport, you get tax free.
Ah,
Above a certain above 5,000 yen, you get tax free, which is like about 30 something US dollars. You get tax
wow.
free.
Okay.
So if you're buying something that you know will have a lot of tax on it,
Yeah.
get it over there. So I
Nice.
enjoyed shopping a tad bit too much, but I also was also trying to get cute stuff like my anime merch,
Oh,
um,
yes.
Studio Ghibli merchandise. I want to go back because I need to go to like do more. Like I want to go to Tokyo Disneyland Sea. I mean Disney Sea,
Mm,
and then I want to go to the Studio Ghibli park and things like that. There's certain things I still want to do. There's
Mhm.
just so much to do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I definitely enjoyed the shopping aspects and also trying to get things that are very, I always get magnets. That's my thing. One thing I realized when I go
Oh,
to other countries
yeah.
is I always get magnets because I'm past the point of getting souvenirs that are useless.
Mhm.
So when I buy stuff, I have to know how and where I'm going to
Use
use it.
yeah.
If I can't, then I'm not getting it.
Mhm.
So magnets are a really good thing because I can just put them on my fridge
Mhm.
and go from there. But like, so all the stuff as souvenirs I get, I have to be very specific about. This is how I'm going to use this.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, fun, Zell. No, fun. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing your experience. So, Japan, check. So, hope our listeners feel inspired to go to Japan.
Oh my goodness, I really do hope you feel inspired. Really try and go there. The last the quick story that I'll say for 30 seconds that I told you about this anyways, Chloe, that kind of confirmed that I should come back to Japan. So Chloe knows my bag is usually almost always overweight.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah.
This time I had a duffel bag, but the duffel bag was really small and I was checking in two bags. The duffel bag was packed
Yeah.
and I didn't have any more space to put stuff in the duffel bag. So my big suitcase was overweight.
Mm.
Now I told you in Japan they follow rules to the T. So but the guy was so nice. He was like, you know what? You can go and buy a suitcase and you can put your duffel bag in there so it'll be cheaper than you paying for overweight because overweight was $200.
Mm. Yeah.
So he's telling me that, but I was just so tired. Like at that time, I was at the airport. I was like, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing this. I told the guy, you know what? I'm just gonna pay for it because I can't. And he was like, Are you sure? Are you sure you could buy a big suitcase, put the duffel bag in, then distribute the weight, and you'll be perfectly fine? And I was like, I'm done. I'm just gonna pay for it.
Mm.
So he got his colleague over, and the colleague was like, Yeah, it's 30,000 yen, which is about 200 US dollars. He's like, Are you sure you don't want to just go and get a suitcase? And I'm like, I'm sure I'll just pay for it. Like I was ready to pay for it because I think I was just exhausted by that time.
Mm.
Like I had no energy to do it. And then there's also a long line for like
Mm.
baggage drop. So I was just like, no, I'm not gonna go through this again. And I wanted to go tour the airport because there's certain nice, beautiful places to tour in the airport.
Mhm.
So then the guy just looked at me and he's like, you know what? For you, I'll let this slide. He's like, our little secret. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have you pay for it. And I was so surprised because, as I told you, they're sticklers for rules
Yeah.
in Japan. And this guy was like, "No, our little secret. You can go." It's like I wouldn't charge you because ultimately, if you count the weight in my big suitcase and my backpack and my duffel bag,
Yeah.
they were both. It was under the total weight. So
Yeah.
he's like, he's like, just go. It's like, don't worry about it. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's
Uh,
my sign. I should come back to this country
yeah.
because
Aw.
they were like even nice at the airport. It made me so happy because I literally was ready to pay that money because I was so tired. Like
Uh,
I just was like, no, I don't want to do with this nonsense.
right.
So yeah.
Oh, what a great end to your trip. That was like, Japan, I'll be back. Yay.
I'm like, I'll be
Oh.
like,
Oh,
oh my
oh,
goodness.
man. This was good. Oh.
I think I was just rambling on a lot about this episode, but I hope this inspires you guys to travel more, explore the world more. There's a lot out there, and I honestly feel like it's such a big, wide world with a lot of
Mm.
beautiful places. Of course, there's always challenges that pop up with traveling,
Mhm.
which I guess I didn't mention any of the few challenges I had, but that could be a
That
different
could be
episode.
different, yeah.
I
Mm.
didn't have many. Let's be real.
Which is good, which is
But
good, right. We don't wanna scare our listeners, and then we're like, "No, just"
I didn't have many. I think that also depends on the country you go to as well, because there's certain countries, depending on who you are and stuff like that, it might be harder.
Mhm.
Japan generally a very respectful society,
Mm.
so it's much easier as a foreigner there
Mm.
because they're just calm, cool, and collected.
Yeah.
But just travel, go out there, explore the world.
Mhm.
There are more good people than bad people,
Yeah.
and it's amazing, amazing experiences that you'll keep for life.
Yeah.
Um, but other than that, you guys can reach out to us on what? The feminine outliers at gmail.com. You can also comment on our videos on YouTube, which we will enable the comment section because I think we might have not
Oh,
enabled the
really?
comment
We need to
section.
look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we need to look at that, but we'll enable it. Feel free to rate us on Spotify. Give us 5 stars, please, so we can go up in the algorithm. Let your friends and family know, basically anyone who's going to benefit from this podcast.
Mhm.
Anything else you want to say, Joy?
No, just stay tuned until the next episode.
Yay! So, until next time, guys, have fun, live large, and don't be afraid to be an outlier.